Chapter 11 Ren Xue returns home, pointing her sword at Bibi Han. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After absorbing those 2 millennia-old soul rings, and building on Bibi Dong's previous training, Bibi Han's soul power shot straight to level 25, at just over 6.5 years old, reaching level 25. That's insane talent. That's the crazy thing about having an innate soul power of 20. You not only get to add 2 soul rings without even trying, but your cultivation speed is ridiculously fast. Nobody with just full innate soul power can keep up. Everyone stared at Bibi Han's soul rings, totally blown away. Both were purple. Even the most gifted genius in Wuhun Palace history only had a purple second ring. This was a soul master first. Mom, I did you proud. Bibi Han said, seeing the huge smile on his mother's face. Bibi Dong nodded, ruffling his hair. It's been a few days. Time to head back. By the time they got back to Wuhun Hall, it was already the afternoon of the 3rd day. Bibi Dong hurried back to the Pope's palace, probably to tackle the mountain of stuff that piled up while she was gone. Bibi Han went to see his golden crocodile master too. In the courtyard, Master Golden Crocodile was sitting there, sipping tea like he knew Bibi Han was coming. Well? Get that soul ring I spent centuries trying to find? Golden Crocodile said casually. Master, hold the tea. I've got a surprise for you, Bibi Han said, all confidence. Humph. Who do you think you're talking to? What could possibly surprise me? Golden Crocodile took a drink, playing it cool, then, bam. The blue-silver god appeared, the soul rings showed up, and those 2 purple rings circled Bibi Han. Golden Crocodile spat out his tea on the spot. A millennia-old first ring? No way. All thanks to your awesome training, Master. Your methods helped me get this strong body, and with the martial soul suppression, I pulled it off. Bibi Han laid out the whole story. I see. Okay, go get some rest. Come back tomorrow, Golden Crocodile said, but his voice was a little off. Bibi Han didn't think much of it. He just figured his master was a little embarrassed at losing face and left. Xiaogang, you're incredible. I'm so happy to have you as a disciple, but... Golden Crocodile watched him go, his face a mix of emotions, then headed toward the enshrinement hall. He arrived at the hall. Brother, Xiaogang absorbed the soul rings, Golden Crocodile said to Qian Douluo, who was standing in front of the angel statue. Absorbed them? So what? What's the big deal? Qian Douluo replied, not really interested. Qian Douluo was back to looking like a handsome guy in his 40s, golden hair and wearing golden armor. The armor had wings like a seraph on the back. He looked pretty imposing. But both his soul rings are purple, and I can tell you right now, that first soul ring is over 3,000 years old, and the second is over 8,000. As a level 98 title Douluo, Golden Crocodile could easily see the age of the soul rings. What? Qian Douluo spun around, eyes wide. He knew Golden Crocodile wouldn't lie to him. The consequences would be way too serious. Golden Crocodile had struggled with this for a while. He loved having him as a student, but he was even more loyal to the angel lineage. In the original story, he blew himself up to save Renxue, dedicating his whole life, literally, to Wuhun Palace. Qian Douluo looked conflicted. He hadn't expected Bibi Han to be this amazing. He hadn't changed his mind yet, but if he couldn't control him, a genius like that could be a huge threat to Wuhun Palace, but he really didn't want to squash Bibi Han like a bug. It was like when he was chasing Tang Hao. He hadn't taken it too seriously. Otherwise, with his demigod powers, he could have crushed Tang Hao in terms of soul power, speed, and mental strength. How could Tang Hao have survived? Even the explosion of all 9 rings from a level 92 guy was nothing, just a hit comparable to a level 99 title Douluo, and that couldn't even touch him. He was a demigod. In the original story, Qian Douluo seriously injured the level 97 sword Douluo, who was being assisted by Ningfengji, from way back. So, you're telling me he couldn't have killed a level 92 Tang Hao, carrying his baby, with a burst of power from across the way. And how many times could he pull off that kind of ring explosion? The main thing was that Qian Daolu knew Tang Hao hadn't killed his son. If he had, even if he was Tang Qian's grandson, Qian Daolu would have taken him out, no question. Even though Tang Qian was stronger than Qian Daolu, they were still pretty evenly matched. Friendship wouldn't stop him from avenging his son. This guy was just pretending to be a father. While Qian Daolu was wrestling with this, the angel statue suddenly started shaking. The conflicted look on Qian Daolu's face turned gentle, and Golden Crocodile's face turned into a kind, grandfatherly expression. Someone was back. A beautiful woman with long golden hair, wearing a golden palace dress. It was one piece, looked like it was woven with gold thread, simple and elegant, no extra frills. The golden stand-up collar protected her white, slender neck, and her long golden hair was casually thrown back without being combed carefully. It was a stark contrast to her tidy palace clothes. Share. Mississippi. Grandpa Golden Crocodile, I'm back. After a bunch of greetings, Ren Xue said, Grandpa Jean Crocodile, have you taken on a disciple named Bibi Han? Yes, why? Jean Crocodile asked. I want to meet him and train with you for a while. Xiaoxue, you just became crown prince. You can't wait any longer, Qian Daolu said, with a hint of pain in his eyes. It was an irony, plain and simple. It was your own home, but you couldn't stay. Don't worry, Grandpa. I'm using a double who's pretending to be sick. I'll be fine for a little while. Qian Daolu and Jean Crocodile both knew Ren Xue came back for Bibi Han. Qian Daolu's eyes flickered. And Jean Crocodile saw what Qian Daolu was thinking. He said, no problem, Mississippi. Grandpa Jean Crocodile, now that we're not in town, I told you to just call me Xiaoxue, like Grandpa does. Only Grandpa and Grandpa Jean Crocodile could call her Xiaoxue. None of the other guardians, including that woman, were allowed. Jean Crocodile thought for a moment after hearing this and nodded. Okay, I'll call you Xiaoxue from now on. Renxue smiled. Bibi Han, it's time for us to meet. Renxue's eyes turned cold. 12 Collision. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Bibi Han was up late in his room, ditching sleep for training. He hadn't even used his eye drops yet. Hana. Mom, you look tired. Go get some rest, Bibi Han said, noticing the weariness in his mother's eyes. No, I need to talk to you. Have a seat, Mom. Let me rub your shoulders. As he massaged her shoulders, Bibi Han asked, what's on your mind? Your second soul ring is 8,500 years old. Are you thinking about trying for a third one at 10,000 years? Mom, you read my mind. Imagine me becoming a soul master with 2 purple rings and a black one, no yellow at all. It'll scare the pants off my opponents and make winning a breeze. Hana, I advise against it. Do you understand the difference between a 10,000-year soul ring and a 10,000-year soul ring? Then, it clicked for Bibi Han. 10,000-year soul rings have soul vibrations from the lingering resentment of the soul beast. No matter how strong your will is, if your mental strength isn't up to par, you'll end up a vegetable, even if you manage to absorb the ring. Soul shock. Do you know any ways to train my mental power? There are ways, but they're tedious and incredibly tough. Are you sure about this? If not, a 4th ring at 10,000 years would work just fine. Nah, Mom, I can handle some hardship. How much tougher can it be than training with Master Golden Crocodile? After she shared the methods with him. Alright, it's time for me to head back. Get some rest, Mom. One more thing, Hana, you'll have a new classmate tomorrow. I hope you two get along. With that, Bibi Dong left. Bibi Han didn't even get a chance to ask who it was. Oh well, he thought, I'll find out tomorrow. Time to get back to practice. The next day, Bibi Han arrived at the courtyard, opened the door, and immediately spotted a blonde girl standing nearby. He froze. She was stunning. She couldn't have been more than 13, with waist-length blonde hair, skin like snow, striking eyes, a straight nose, a perfectly oval face, and a slightly regal bearing. Tall and shapely, it's not like Bibi Han had never seen beautiful women. The ladies in the Pope's palace were all gorgeous, otherwise, they wouldn't be there. He'd even seen Douluo Lingyuan, who was lovely, but this girl was in another league. The only person he knew who could compare was his mother, Bibi Dong. "Humph, so you're that woman's bastard, Bibi Han." Her voice was cold, laced with hatred. That woman. Bastard? Blonde and beautiful. I know who she is. But anger flared up immediately. Watch your mouth, lady. Who are you calling a bastard? Say one more word and I'll rip your tongue out. Bibi Han's voice was equally icy. Seriously. You're supposed to be a top intelligence agent, but you don't know who I am and you're already insulting my mothers? Unforgivable, . How dare you talk to me like that? Renxue yelled, furious. What, not loud enough for you? Or are you deaf? You asked for it. Renxue charged. Renxue was consumed by bitterness. In her mind, Bibi Han had stolen the maternal love that was rightfully hers. Why else would he show up the moment she went to the Heaven-Do Empire and dared to steal her golden crocodile grandpa? He'd taken everything that belonged to her and now he dared to insult her. When had Renxue ever been taught to like this? Why not use her martial soul? Because Renxue wanted to cripple him completely. Even though she had less time to train after going to the Heaven-Do Empire, she had still reached the Soul King realm. If she used her martial soul, she could beat Bibi Han with one punch, and killing him would be letting him off too easy. And Renxue wanted to see if that woman's precious son was crippled. Would she go crazy and come to her? Losing her father, not being recognized by her mother, and her undercover life in the Heaven-Do Empire had twisted her mind. Even going against her mother to get her attention was a kind of twisted satisfaction. Bring it on. I'm not afraid of you. As Renxue threw a punch, Bibi Han threw one back, and their fists collided with a thwack. Bibi Han stumbled back 7 steps, while Renxue only took 3. In terms of sheer strength, Bibi Han was no match for Renxue. The gap in soul power was too significant. He'd have to change his tactics. Renxue came at him with another punch, but Bibi Han dodged it carefully. After several more punches, Bibi Han saw an opening, found the perfect stance, grabbed Renxue's arm with both hands, pinned it against her chest, and threw her over his shoulder. He might not be as strong, and he might be less skilled than Renxue, who had been neglecting her training, but his skills were taught by his mother, the best in the world in terms of close combat. Although Douluo was experienced in battle, he mostly used swords, and Renxue did too. In close combat, Renxue wasn't his match. After a few graceful flips, Renxue landed smoothly. Bibi Han stood his ground. Apologize to my mother, and I won't beat you up. Humph. I'll never apologize to her. Think you can get cocky just because you got in a lucky shot? Renxue charged again, jumping up and bringing her long legs down in a chopping motion. Luckily, Renxue had changed into training pants. Otherwise, if she had worn yesterday's dress, she would have flashed everyone. Bibi Han crossed his arms to block the blow, squatting to absorb the impact. Then, he grabbed Renxue's supporting leg with his other hand, kicked her other leg, and yanked her backward. Renxue, thrown off balance, was pulled into a straight line. Bibi Han swung his right leg towards her face. Renxue gasped, clasping her hands together to block the kick. She was sent flying by Bibi Han's kick, which contained hundreds of pounds of force. However, his hand still hadn't let go of Renxue's calf. Using that leverage, Bibi Han spun around and hurled Renxue towards the wall. Chapter 13. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Just as he was about to get slammed, 5 soul rings, yellow, yellow, purple, purple, and black, blazed around Renxue. Wings burst from her back, tearing through her clothes. She stopped in mid-air as a shimmering seraphim formed behind her, bathing her in sacred light. It added an almost divine aura to her already striking beauty, and 6 angelic feathers drifted down. Empowered by her angelic spirit, Renxue resembled a goddess, noble, sacred, and untouchable. Bibi Han frowned, sensing the potent energy radiating from the angelic spirit. Despite her lack of experience, the power of Renxue's angelic spirit made her a soul saint with unstoppable combat potential. He extended his right hand, and the blue-silver emperor spirit appeared, encircled by 2 purple soul rings. His left hand remained behind his back, crackling with purple lightning. Renxue's eyes narrowed, taking in Bibi Han's soul rings. I underestimated you. You really are like me, born with maxed-out soul power. Bibi Han sneered. Don't compare me to someone with a yellow second ring. You're a disgrace to your god-level innate talent. Renxue's chest heaved, anger finally exploding after suppressing her initial shock. He'd thrown her off twice and mocked her talent. Humiliation. Utter humiliation. The proud Renxue couldn't bear it. It demanded to be washed away in blood. No longer content with simply crippling Bibi Han, she wanted to destroy him. She was on the verge of losing it as she surged forward, her 5th soul ring igniting. A holy sword materialized in her hand. Murderous, he thought. This guy wants to kill me. Why can't she just say so? Are all the proud women in this world like this? Still, he wasn't defenseless. After absorbing the 2 purple soul rings, he'd grown a few inches taller. Plus, he could now wield the clear sky hammer, probably thanks to his god-level spirit. It looked like he could use both spirits at the same time. The hammer behind him grew in size as strands of blue-silver grass snaked out, trying to ensnare Renxue. He prepared to grab the hammer and charge. Xiaohan. Xiaoxue. Stop. Golden crocodile Douluo appeared between them, releasing a wave of soul power that instantly paralyzed them both. No, master, grandpa, let me go. I'm going to kill this bastard who humiliated me. I told you I'm not an illegitimate child, you brainless jerk. I'll tear your mouth out. Golden crocodile used his soul power to silence Bibi Han, then said to Renxue, Xiaoxue, you're mistaken. He's not your mother's bastard son. He's adopted. Adopted. Not a bastard. I was wrong. Renxue calmed down slightly. Even if he's not a bastard, I'll kill him for insulting me. Bibi Han, MMPH. Xiaohan is your classmate, and he's just as talented as you. Having him around will push you to grow. Golden crocodile finally soothed Renxue with persuasive words. He thought. Master just sold me out like that. Once freed from his restraints, Bibi Han and Renxue stood on opposite sides of Golden Crocodile, glaring daggers at each other, ready to pounce at the slightest provocation. Before anything could happen, though, Renxue went to change. She never allowed anyone to see anything but her face and hands. Because she activated her angelic spirit without special clothes, the back of her sportswear had a gaping hole. At Bibi Han's feet, 2 stalks of blue-silver grass stood tall. Renxue was 9 years older than him, making him only reach her neck. He had to use the blue-silver grass to gain some height, and look at Renxue eye to eye. Golden Crocodile sighed inwardly. He was only following his brother's instructions to temper Renxue's arrogance. That kind of pride needed to be backed up by strength. Since Renxue's performance had declined significantly in the Heaven Do Empire, he hadn't stopped it at first. He just hadn't expected things to escalate this much. Xiaohan, come with me. Golden Crocodile used his soul power to lift them and lead them to a house. The scenery was pleasant, with birds singing and flowers blooming, creating a relaxing atmosphere. Xiaohan, you'll be living here from now on, Golden Crocodile announced. What? I'm living with her, him? Are you kidding? No way. Ahem, you're not living together. There are 2 houses here. Choose one. That still won't work. I can't stand this guy. You think I like you? That watching the 2 on the verge of another fight, Golden Crocodile felt a headache coming on. Xiaoxue, don't be difficult. This is your grandfather's wish. Renxue fell silent. Her grandfather was the only family she had, and she usually obeyed him. Xiaohan, this is an order from master. Asterisk damn it, you stinky old man, Bibi Han and Renxue walked inside. The rooms were symmetrical and identical. Bibi Han immediately went to the room on the left. Hold on, Renxue said. What do you want? I prefer the east-facing side. Switch with me. Renxue said in a demanding tone. If you asked nicely, maybe I would. But like that? No way. Bibi Han rushed inside, closely followed by Renxue. Then, she saw something that enraged her. Bibi Han had sprawled out on the bed. You want the bed I slept on? He taunted. Renxue's beautiful eyes blazed. Gritting her teeth, she said, You are so dead. Before turning and stalking out, he should probably be more worried about angering Renxue, but he didn't care. She was so rude. Chapter 14, Tempering Mental Strength. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Then, Bibi Han took in the cabin. It had everything, a bedroom, a bathroom, and a living room with a sofa. Renxue's side was identical, mirroring his setup. He then started practicing the mental enhancement technique his mother gave him. Bibi Han filled a glass of water, locked it with his mental power, and a tiny water ball floated up. He guided it toward his mouth. The droplet vibrated wildly as it neared his lips. He looked incredibly strained, sweat beading on his forehead. This was tough, really tough. The water droplet kept shaking, then splattered onto his clothes. Failure. Man, that one little effort made my head spin. No wonder mental training is known to be the most boring and exhausting. Good thing Mom prepped a bunch of supplements to boost my mental strength. Of course, a third of the medicine is poisonous. You still have to rely on yourself in the end. Take the million-year-old soul beast, the heavenly dream ice silkworm. Ridiculously high mental power, but no means of mental attack. It doesn't live up to its name, just a power bank. He tried again. More tiny water droplets rose, all failing. He pulled out some mental replenishing herbs from his Zangna ring and began anew, over and over. It was getting annoying. Bibi Han couldn't help but think of Tang San's purple demon eyes. Training with those would really help boost mental power and even unlock mental attacks later. Oh well, that's his thing. Can't be too envious. That finally, after the 99th failed attempt, the 100th try succeeded. The first tiny drop of water made it into his mouth. Finally. Bibi Han said, a little dizzy. Time for some medicine. Keep at it. Bibi Han only managed 10 drops from the glass. He was still happy with that. He took out a small pill. It was a milky white pill, something like a refreshing pill. He swallowed it. Nice, mental power boost, for sure. But it's 1 pill a month, and you have to consolidate your mental strength in between before continuing. That afternoon, Bibi Han and Renxue stood together in a training yard. Golden Crocodile brought out several training machines, each loaded with rubber balls. Renxue's identity was a closely guarded secret, unknown to most at the Spirit Hall. And with Golden Crocodile too old to break through level 99, he was left to oversee the tedious tasks himself. He seemed to enjoy it, though, a way to stay active in his old age. The biggest reason was that one of them was likely to inherit the future god of angels position, and the other was his disciple. Both were among the most talented geniuses in the world. Even after Golden Crocodile was gone, the thought of having mentored them was a source of pride. He also trusted they would look after his family. Xiaohan, Xiaoxue, today's lesson is training. What you have to do is dodge these as much as possible. You can use weapons to defend yourselves if you want. Who wants to go first? I will, Renxue said. Alright, Xiaoxue, you're up. Renxue positioned herself between the training machines. One machine started, ejecting rubber balls at what looked like 20 meters per second. The rate quickly increased from 1 ball to 2, then 3, then several. Renxue focused intently, her body a blur as she dodged. Dressed in black and gold athletic wear, her movements were fluid and graceful. After a minute, a second machine started from the opposite direction, ejecting more balls, both larger and smaller, but at a slower speed. Renxue shifted her stance, glancing left and right. At 2 minutes, the third training machine activated. The balls were bigger and slower. The 3 machines formed an isosceles triangle. Renxue drew a long sword to defend, moving with practiced ease and no wasted motions. Bibi Han was impressed. No wonder she was suppressing Tang San back in Heavendoe Palace. When the 4th machine turned on, forming a rectangle with the 4 machines, Renxue couldn't keep up. Several balls hit her in the back, catching her by surprise. It didn't really hurt, but it stung. Renxue grunted, but Renxue, being born with level 20 soul power and known as the #1 talent in the original novel, was highly adaptable and learned fast. She quickly adjusted and avoided being hit again. 8 machines stood in a circle. When the 5th machine started, Renxue finally reached her limit and was pelted with hits. And the frequency kept increasing. Xiaoxue still hasn't grasped the core concept, Master Golden Crocodile said, shaking his head. Bibi Han's expression said it all. This kind of training was useful, sure, but for them, 2 geniuses, it was kind of boring. The best way to train reaction speed was to spar, one against many, to enhance both reaction and combat abilities. Mother and Master wouldn't let him waste time. He was currently working on his mental strength. Could that be? Bibi Han went behind a machine, closed his eyes, and tried it. A smile crept onto his lips. After the 5th machine started, Golden Crocodile didn't activate the 6th, allowing Renxue to step out. Renxue looked a little embarrassed, drenched in sweat. Her sportswear clung to her body, showing off her curves. She gave Bibi Han a challenging look. Bibi Han returned a mocking grin. He stepped inside, and the machine started. Rubber balls flew toward him. Bibi Han closed his eyes, barely dodging them with his mental strength. Renxue couldn't see Bibi Han's eyes because of his hair. She covered her mouth and giggled. I bet you're not as great as you think. This won't work. Golden Crocodile nodded, however. Good start. At first, Bibi Han was clumsy and barely managed to dodge the balls. When several shot out at once, he couldn't adapt and got hit twice. Bibi Han, give it up. You don't want to be beaten into a pulp, Renxue teased. Finally, she got to see Bibi Han choke. She was looking forward to making fun of him for being so cocky. Bibi Han didn't pay attention to the arrogant fool. The pain from the hits didn't bother him. He was already adapting. Then another hit, but after that, he avoided every one. Bibi Han kept his eyes closed, trying to extend his mental power behind him. After dozens of seconds, the 2nd machine activated. Bibi Han was ready this time and wasn't hit. His mental control was improving. He couldn't exactly lock onto the balls, but he could feel their trajectories. Chapter 15 Ren Xue cried, 2,700 words. You are listening at novelfull.audio. 2 minutes later, the 3rd machine whirred to life, and Bibi Han finally opened his eyes. He wasn't some kind of superhuman who could dodge the rubber balls with his eyes closed, relying solely on mental perception. Renxue gasped, covering her mouth in shock. Bibi Han's evasion was so fluid, so effortless, and he wasn't even using a weapon. She knew she would need a sword just to defend against the 3 attacks. For the 4th machine, he drew his weapon, 2 sticks, each a little over a yard long. He stood his ground on the rectangle's diagonal line, his eyes darting between the 3 machines. He used his right stick to parry the incoming projectiles while using his mental power to scan the one behind him, using his left stick to block its attacks. Renxue was floored, her mind racing, trying to understand how he was doing it. Did he have eyes in the back of his head? The golden crocodile stroked his beard, a smile playing on his lips. The fifth machine activated, and Bibi Han was now both dodging and actively fighting back. His blue-silver domain spread out like a radar. A domain, Renxue noted, only slightly surprised. After all, every god-level martial soul had a domain. The golden crocodile had known this all along, so he remained impassive. By the seventh channel, Bibi Han was overwhelmed. His body's reflexes weren't fast enough, so he had to concede. Seeing Renxue's surprised expression, Bibi Han gave a slight smile. So? He asked. Renxue gritted her teeth, annoyed. He'd managed to reach the fifth level before using his domain. She was only on the fourth. Still, she had to know. How did you do it? Actually, I owe you one. Your help is the reason I could reach the fifth level without opening my domain. Otherwise, I probably would have ended up the same as you. Thank me. He saw the puzzlement in Renxue's eyes. Let me explain. This test isn't just about reaction time or physical agility. It's about improving your mental power. I used my mental power to act as a second pair of eyes behind my head. And did you notice anything strange about the timing and method the machines used to launch the balls? Those are clues, designed to help you adapt. That's right, Xiaogang, the golden crocodile chimed in. You left after absorbing the angel's head soul bone without properly training your mental strength. Add that to Xiaohan wanting to challenge the third 10,000-year ring, and you have a good reason for this training. Humph, if I had challenged first, I would have understood the key points, Renxue said, unconvinced. You can only blame yourself for hogging the spotlight, Bibi Han said. Seeing Bibi Han's indifferent expression and facing another defeat, Renxue was ready to explode again. Alright, Xiaohan and Xiaoxue, keep going. You pass when you clear all 8 machines. Or, you could join forces. No way. Renxue snapped. After a day of training, Bibi Han felt his mental strength had improved noticeably. Not bad at all. The next day, wake up, gather, go to class, stand up, greet the teacher. Ahem, what was this? Xiaohan, Xiaoxue, today we have a cultural class. Strength is essential for a powerful person, but so is knowledge. They agreed. Except for the muscle-headed brutes from the Haotian sect, every title Douluo they knew was well read. Master, the important stuff. I already know the basics. I'm not interested in that stuff, Bibi Han complained. Now we'll have a quick question and answer session. Shout out the answer if you know it. Bibi Han. What is it? Bibi Han asked. How about we make a bet? What kind of bet? A quick answer contest, best out of 5. First to win 3 rounds wins. Bibi Han looked at Renxue, whose competitive spirit was clearly flaring up again. Alright. But since we're betting, what's on the line? Renxue thought for a moment. If I win, you have to call me sister. Okay. If I win, you call me Brother Han. The bet was made. The golden crocodile ignored their antics. The first question, what is the function of sword Douluo Qinshin's 7-kill sword 7 kills domain, that when Jin Xian's father challenged Qian Daolu, he was the first to fight. He and Qin Jianjun were both level 97 peak Douluo at the time, so they were familiar with the 7 kills domain. Records of the 7 kills domain were also on the 7th floor of the library. A clear, sweet voice rang out. The 7 kills domain is filled with powerful sword energy. It greatly enhances the user's strength. Anyone who enters the domain will be attacked by that energy. Weaker individuals simply can't withstand it. The drawback is that the domain doesn't differentiate between friend and foe. Completely correct. Renxue shot Bibi Han a smug look. That's not fair, master. I was only on the 7th floor briefly before starting training with you. I haven't read any of those books, Bibi Han protested. Luck is also part of strength, the golden crocodile replied. Bibi Han was speechless. Next question, what kind of soul beast is this, and what are its abilities? This time, Bibi Han beat her to it. Dark Demon Evil God Tiger. It's a god-level soul beast with the attributes of evil, darkness, thunder and lightning, wind, time, and space. It's incredibly intelligent and powerful, and can fight for 10,000 years. It has a weird ability that can make people vanish instantly. So, win or lose, don't provoke it. Just get out of there. That's what the book said, at least. What else could he say? Give them the real rundown. Correct. The score was tied, 2-2, as they headed into the final round. Neither Bibi Han nor Renxue wanted to have to call the other sister or brother Han. The final question: soul beasts may transform after 10,000 years. The transformed soul beasts come to the human world, but may be discovered by soul Douluo and titled Douluo. They kill the beast, take the ring and take the bones, but they still enter the human world. Why do you still enter the human world? Bibi Han slammed his hand on Renxue's table. What are you doing? Renxue yelped. Bibi Han ignored her and shouted, after soul beasts transform, they come to the human world to absorb a kind of aura emitted by humans. By absorbing this aura, they can cultivate faster. Renxue, you lose. Renxue realized what he'd done. You deliberately hit my table to disrupt my thinking. That's dirty. Renxue said angrily. Come on, I haven't trained for a few hours and my hands are itchy. Keep your promise. No way. You cheated. One more question. Or I won't admit that I lost. The final question is there any situation in the world that can surpass innate full soul power when awakening soul power at the age of 6? Renxue slammed Bibi Han's table, but he was unaffected. He'd already guessed that she was going to pull something. The moment he saw her malicious smile before the question, he knew exactly what she was up to. Why else should I say that? While Renxue was banging on the table, Bibi Han announced loudly, innate soul power is directly proportional to the strength of the martial soul. The best martial souls can carry up to 10 levels of innate soul power. There are only 2 ways to exceed that: either it's a super martial soul, or a god-level martial soul. Or you cheat. Renxue, you really lost this time. Fulfill your promise. Bibi Han folded his arms and waited quietly, knowing that Renxue would honor the bet. As Daoliu's granddaughter, taught by Daolu himself, chivalry was in her blood. The golden crocodile stood aside, refraining from interfering. Renxue lowered her head, blushing, gritted her teeth, and finally said, Brother Han. Bibi Han nodded with satisfaction and said, Yep. Xiaoxue, the next question is crucial for your future. Listen carefully. As a leader, if you discover an extremely talented individual in the future, how do you recruit them? Bibi Han struggled for an answer. Renxue said, satisfy all of their conditions, as long as it falls within their value range. Stupid idea, Bibi Han countered immediately. You called me stupid again. Renxue yelled. She'd only been alive for 2 days, and she'd been called stupid 3 times, and she was the only one being scolded. She couldn't accept it. Bibi Han replied disdainfully, Why? Did I say something wrong? Then tell me, what's wrong with what I said? First, you need to know who that person is and adapt your approach accordingly. Second, you need to determine if that person is someone you can control. And finally, I want to ask you this: if you can control both of those things, and that person asked you to sacrifice the lives of your own people in exchange for them joining you, would you agree? Otherwise, wouldn't it be normal to exchange small sacrifices for greater benefits? Big mistake. Bibi Han stood up and shouted at Renxue. Renxue was stunned. The most precious talent is a person who is dedicated and loyal. Abandoning your own subordinates for an outsider is digging your own grave. If you get that person that way, what's to guarantee that you won't abandon them later for someone even better? Who would dare work for you? Who would dare be loyal? Eventually, you'll alienate everyone and be abandoned by everyone. Renxue trembled, as if she had heard the most terrifying thing imaginable, abandon, abandon, abandon. The words echoed in her mind, tears streamed down her face, and she ran out crying. Chapter 16 Understanding, Feeling, Apology, Compensation. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Why are you crying just because he ran off? Bibi Han asked, confused. Xiaogang, hi. Did I say something wrong, master? Not exactly wrong, but you touched a nerve with Xiaoxue. A nerve? Let me tell you about Xiaoxue's childhood. Xiaoxue's mother is also Bibi Dong, your adoptive mother. What? Bibi Han feigned surprise. From the moment Xiaoxue was born, her mother left for Killing City. Her grandfather, her father, and we others raised her. She was such an innocent, lively, and lovable child. All she wanted was to see her mother, always dreaming of bringing her back. Bibi Dong's return completely changed Xiaoxue. For whatever reason, Bibi Dong hated Xiaoxue, treated her like she was worthless. Every time Xiaoxue saw her mother, she'd run back crying, asking why her mother didn't love her, even hated her. After Xiaoxue awakened her angel spirit, that hate only grew stronger. On the day of the awakening, Xiaoxue happily went to see Bibi Dong, but she was met with a slap across the face. It was the first time she had ever been hit, Golden Crocodile said sadly. Bibi Han lowered her head, imagining the scene. Renxue must have been devastated. After that, Xiaoxue gave up everything a child should enjoy and threw herself into training, hoping to earn her mother's approval. She might not have suffered too much physical harm, but she practiced until she passed out almost every single day. Still, nothing changed. After the previous pope died, Bibi Dong, as the new pope, went to Xiaoxue for the first time. Xiaoxue greeted her with such excitement. But what Bibi Dong offered her was a plan, one no genius could ever accept. All she had to do was pretend to be a maid to serve others. She's been undercover for 2 years. A genius, an unparalleled genius, the Pope's daughter, born into the most prestigious family on the entire continent, and she was working as a maid. Maids were considered the lowest of the low in Douluo. They referred to themselves as slaves when addressing their masters. Wouldn't any genius from Douluo be proud? What genius could ever fall for a maid? But Xiaoxue still went along with it, all to win her mother's approval. We didn't raise Xiaoxue well, and her experiences warped her thinking. It's not really her fault she is the way she is now. So, Bibi Han, I want you to coax Xiaoxue back and apologize. Golden Crocodile said sternly, smack. Smack. Bibi Han slapped herself twice, feeling guilty. She had read the original story and knew how miserable Renxue's life was, but she still held on to the words about her being an illegitimate child and a profiteer, and continued to resent her. She even dug into her deepest wounds. It's not her fault her character was formed like this. She hurried after her and reached Renxue's door, hearing crying inside, let me wait a bit. She probably doesn't want me to see her like this. I can apologize whenever she comes out. I owe her that. When lunch arrived, their meals were delivered by others, but their lunch boxes were left unopened. Isn't she coming? Forget it. Bibi Han went to the Wuhun Palace's main kitchen. The food cooked there was for the elders of Wuhun Palace, delicacies from all over the world. Let me cook for her. Before I was 6, I came here to learn before I left. With Blue Star's cooking skills, I should start directly. Knock, knock, knock. Renxue, are you there? Your lunch. I'm coming in. Walking into Renxue's room, it was pink and filled with a young girl's atmosphere and a faint fragrance. After looking around the living room, Bibi Han knocked on the bedroom door and went inside. She's asleep. Seeing the tears in the corners of Renxue's eyes, Bibi Han felt a pang of guilt. Still, she couldn't deny that Renxue was beautiful even in her sleep. Silently, she placed the insulated lunch box on the table and wrote a note of apology. At that moment, Douluo approached Golden Crocodile Douluo in the enshrinement hall. Golden crocodile, what's going on? Why didn't Xiaoxue eat lunch today? Douluo was naturally concerned about Renxue. Someone had reported that Renxue's lunch box was unopened. Well. What is it? Golden crocodile, seeing Douluo's expression, knew he couldn't hide it any longer, so he told him everything. So, that little jerk Tang Hao's son made my Xue cry again. What is this, the Haotian sect or the spirit hall? I let it go last time when he insulted Xue. After all, Xue was in the wrong. But now he actually made her cry. He's asking for it. Douluo was radiating murderous intent. Brother, calm down, Golden crocodile quickly advised. Hearing that, Douluo got even angrier. How can I be calm? Xue suffered so much in the Tiando Empire, and she can't even be happy at home, all because of that brat. Golden crocodile said earnestly, brother, even though Xiaoxue cried, she can still understand the importance of knowing people. This will be very useful to her when she becomes pope in the future. Humph, even if I don't kill him, I'll teach him a lesson. Douluo instantly appeared at the house where Bibi Han and Renxue lived. Sensing Bibi Han's location, and discovering what she was doing and writing, his anger subsided a little. As Bibi Han put down her pen and was about to leave, she heard Renxue's voice. No, don't leave me alone, Grandpa, Mom, I know I was wrong. Renxue said tearfully. She was sleep-talking. Hearing those words, Bibi Han felt a pang of sadness. Renxue was just an insecure child who desperately needed love. Think about the original story. Renxue wasted 20 years of her life undercover because of her mother's decision. Her angel spirit sacrificed herself for her grandfather, but Poseidon plotted against her to have an affair with Tang San during the test. She was always merciful to Tang San, but when Tang San learned of Renxue's feelings, he directly used them against her, hoping to plant a seed of doubt so he could kill her later. After the Wuhun Empire was destroyed, she was hunted by nobles and forced to hide in the mountains. If it hadn't been for her mother's intercession and the angel spirit's flight capabilities, along with her level 89 cultivation and a divine outfit comparable to that of a super Douluo, those nobles would have killed her. Later, to preserve the angel's martial spirit, she had to marry, and her descendants didn't dare take the surname Qian, or else they would have been killed. Her life was a tragedy. Bibi Han walked to Renxue's bedside, gently stroked her hair, and said softly, no one will abandon you. If you know your mistakes and can correct them, you're a good girl. Really? Really? Renxue asked, her voice trembling. Yes, Xue is a good girl. She knows her mistakes and can correct them. And she's so pretty and cute. Who wouldn't like her? The blue-silver domain was activated, and within its aura, Renxue curled up and fell asleep. Sleep well, Renxue. I'll pay back what my mother owes you and what she gave to me. Chapter 17. Ease the relationship. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Douluo, up on the roof, had regained his composure. Seeing Renxue talking in her sleep tugged at his heart, but the sight of Bibi Han approaching her ignited his murderous intent once more. If Bibi Han even thought about taking advantage of Renxue while she was vulnerable, he'd kill him without hesitation, even if it meant war with Bibi Dong. Worst case, he'd depose Bibi Dong and reclaim his position as pope. As for that ridiculous Tiando Empire infiltration mission, once Renxue was old enough, he'd scrap it. After leaving Renxue's room, Bibi Han went back to his own to train. A little later, Renxue woke up, stretching. It was the best sleep she'd had since she was a kid. Her stomach growled. Damn it, she muttered, rubbing her belly. He made me miss lunch. She spotted something in the room, a lunchbox. Who dared enter her room, her bedroom, without permission? She stalked over and saw a note on the box. Bibi Han, she hissed, grinding her teeth. It's that guy again. And his handwriting's atrocious. He even wrote an apology. Doesn't he know I'll never forgive him? I wouldn't eat his cooking if my life depended on it. Her stomach growled again, louder this time. Fine, I'll just look. I'm not going to eat it. She opened the lunchbox. Wow, that looks amazing. And it smells incredible. Renxue hesitated. I'll just have one bite, see how he did. If it's bad, I'll make fun of him later. Point one bite. That's delicious. Then she couldn't stop. She emptied the lunchbox, scraping up every last bit of sauce. Staring at the empty container, Renxue felt a surge of annoyance. Damn it. How could I eat something he made? That she walked out to find Bibi Han reading Encyclopedia of Soul Beasts at a table between their rooms. Hey, Renxue, you're done eating. How was it? Renxue, feeling guilty, blurted out, I didn't eat a single bite. That garbage went straight into the trash. Bibi Han smiled to himself. Didn't eat a bite. Tasted so bad, total contradiction. He tapped Renxue's cheek and pointed to the corner of his own mouth. She touched her face and realized she had a grain of rice stuck there. Her face flushed, and she ran outside. And she reeks of broth, Bibi Han chuckled. I guess my broth must be pretty good. It was awful. Renxue's voice floated back from a distance. Bibi Han still cooked dinner that night. Renxue initially insisted she wouldn't touch it. Bibi Han countered, I told the chefs I'm making dinner. If you don't eat what I make, there's no dinner. Renxue snatched the lunch box and retreated to her room. A few days later, Bibi Han and Renxue entered the training arena together to deal with the machines. Their relationship had thawed considerably thanks to Bibi Han's cooking. Renxue had grudgingly accepted his invitation. Together, they took down 14 machines. To pass the level with 2 people, they needed to beat 20. The idea was, cooperation should be more than the sum of its parts. 1 plus 1 needed to be greater than 2. Otherwise, what was the point? Why does this sound like the fusion in Dragon Ball? They fought back to back, covering each other. Glancing at the sun, Renxue demanded, it's almost lunchtime, Bibi Han. Hurry up and cook. She barked the order like a queen, but Bibi Han simply shook his head and went to the kitchen. Even while cooking, Bibi Han continued to train. He used his mental power to control the vegetables, tossing them into the pot. His mental strength had more than doubled in the past 10 days of this training. He worked hard, and this type of training gave him a boost, but it's always easiest at the start. Months later, Bibi Han and Renxue sat together on the roof, watching the sunrise. Their relationship had undergone a complete transformation. Bibi Han had become the third person allowed to call Renxue Xiaoxue, and Renxue called him Xiaohan. Calling her sister was strictly forbidden. One time she'd called him Xiaohan's brother, and Bibi Han had immediately retorted with Xiaoxue's sister. Xiaohan, why doesn't that woman like me? Renxue asked, sounding hurt. She came to see you, not me. Over the past few months, Bibi Han had come to understand Renxue. She was cold on the outside but warm on the inside. Her arrogance was real. As the unparalleled genius of the Angel clan, how could she not be? But the coldness was a defense mechanism. She only showed her true self to those she truly trusted. Xiaoxue, I don't know why Mom treats you this way, but I know she cares. Humph, don't lie. She's never cared about me, not since I was a kid. Tears welled in Renxue's eyes. Bibi Han wiped away her tears. I'm not lying. Before I was 5, I slept with Mom. I always heard her whisper, Xue, in her sleep. Xue has to be you. And there are clothes in her closet, unworn, in sizes and styles that match your age, from childhood to now. I bet she bought them for you, but she can't wear them herself. Really? Is that true? Renxue asked, hope and fear mingled in her voice. Absolutely. Bibi Han assured her. Bibi Han respected his mother deeply and wouldn't dream of snooping. He'd never touched her closet, but he'd accidentally glimpsed the clothes when she was changing. A long-lost feeling filled Renxue's heart, and the emptiness she'd always felt was filled with maternal love. Then why does she treat me like this? Renxue asked, confused. I can't say it was your useless father who brought disgrace upon the angel marshal's soul. Hey, don't worry about it. What matters is that mom cares, right? Look, the sun's rising. The dawn broke through the darkness, bringing warmth to the world. I will also turn into light and dispel the darkness of this world. Chapter 18 Identity Confession. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Another 3 months went by. The two guys first held their own against the firepower of 8 aircraft, then teamed up to fend off a bombardment from 20. During all this, Bibi Han crossed paths with Renxue's grandfather, Douluo. He seemed vaguely familiar at first, but when he heard Douluo's voice, he realized it was the old guy he'd been reading and chatting with on the 7th floor. Bibi Han finally understood his mother's game plan, why she'd insisted he climb the ranks in the library one level at a time, why she'd been so hesitant. It was all so he could develop the right mindset and win Douluo's approval, ensuring his smooth integration into the spirit hall. This whole process took them 7 months. Bibi Han even celebrated a birthday during that time. To mark the occasion, he pulled the cute card for the first time in years, managing to get his mother and Renxue to share a meal, though the tension was still thick enough to cut with a knife. On Renxue's birthday, Bibi Han took her kite flying, they horsed around, and he even baked her a 16-layer cake from scratch. They ended up with cream all over their faces that night, grinning from ear to ear. Within those 7 months, Bibi Han's soul power also reached its peak at level 29, a breakthrough seemed imminent, thanks to all the mental power training he'd been doing. Renxue improved 2 levels, hitting level 55. Even with both of them wielding god-level martial souls, it looked like angel martial souls still had the edge when it came to leveling up. They were back on that familiar rooftop, Bibi Han and Renxue, just like old times. Xiaogang, I have to leave soon, and I don't know when I'll be able to see you again, Renxue said sadly. The crown prince of the Heaven-Do Empire's fake illness was on thin ice, ready to shatter. The past 7 months had been the happiest of Renxue's life, hands down. She'd been awkward and frustrated at first, but she'd gotten over that, experienced a ton of new things, and learned some important life lessons. She'd made her first real friend, and even patched things up a little with her mother. If she had her way, she'd stay right there and ditch the constant scheming and the phony act she had to put on back in the capital. Can you tell me what you're planning to do? Even though Bibi Han already knew, he still had to ask. Renxue leaned in close and whispered in Bibi Han's ear, for something this important, honesty is the only way to go. I trust you completely. Bibi Han was deeply touched. Then, Renxue dropped a bombshell. Hey, Xiaogang, I almost forgot. You mentioned you were adopted, right? Who are your birth parents? Why would they give up someone with so much talent? Do you really want to know? Bibi Han's face fell, and he hesitated. Truth be told, he really didn't want to hurt Renxue, not in the slightest. What had Renxue ever done to deserve being the bad guy in the original story? Had she ordered a citywide massacre? Was she oppressing the people? Did she like to fight dirty and ambush people? Nope, she just poisoned a couple of princes and offed a bunch of nobles. In most people's eyes, they probably had it coming. Born into the Heaven-Do Empire's royal family, they were the top dogs among the nobles, surrounded by a bunch of shady characters. Who knew what kind of crap they were pulling behind the scenes? You couldn't trust the original anime version of events. Like they say, you are who you hang out with. When the Spirit Hall launched their unification campaign, Bibi Han was more than happy to see those Heaven-Do Empire nobles bite the dust. And as for the soldiers and soul masters complaining about getting ambushed during the retreat, Bibi Han had to laugh. Did Renxue just go around killing innocent people? Did she flatten Heaven-Do City? Did she loot the national treasury? These top-tier factions would be on the front lines of any war, and if the national treasury ran dry, who'd foot the bill? The people, of course, and they'd suffer even more. As for the nobles stirring up trouble along the border between the Heaven-Do Empire and the Star-Luo Empire, everyone knew they were just trying to hoard money, not being peace-loving diplomats. That was a joke. Renxue, being an angel, always had her limits. Despite everything she'd been through, she still had a good heart. Tang Hao, on the other hand, the hero of the people and idol to countless fans, he destroyed so many spirit hall branches and offed countless low-level soul masters, people like Brother Tao, who only joined the spirit hall to make ends meet. Seriously, Renxue replied, she was going to find out sooner or later. Better to tell her now than let her stew in her sadness and end up doing something stupid. Bibi Han raised his left hand, and a golden hammer crackling with purple lightning appeared in his grip. Wow, Xiaogang. I didn't realize you had twin martial souls. Twin god level ones at that. Renxue was taken aback, but still happy for him. Bibi Han gave a bitter smile. Take a closer look at the markings on this hammer. Renxue squinted. The markings, they spell out how. Tian. High. Blue silver grass, Haotian hammer, your. Renxue's voice trembled. Bibi Han closed his eyes, agony etched on his face. Yeah. I'm Tang Hao's son, the guy who killed your father. The common knowledge of the Soul Master world. Renxue's body shook violently. The irony was crushing. Her first real friend was the son of the man who killed her father, and she was the daughter of the woman who killed his mother. Renxue's perspective. There's a saying in the Soul Master world that vengeance shouldn't extend to the innocent, but how often does that actually happen? It's hard to just let go of hatred. Hurt me, and I'll take down your whole family. It's a pretty standard reaction. These two were natural enemies, yet somehow became best friends. Tears welled up in Renxue's eyes. Xiaoshue, Bibi Han said softly. Don't call me that. We're enemies, not friends. Then, Renxue spread her wings and flew off, watching Renxue disappear into the sky, tears streaming down her face. Bibi Han's heart twisted. A single tear rolled down his own cheek. Enemy, why? P.S. The author is single and therefore has limited emotional brain power, so emotional scenes end up like this. Please be gentle, readers. Chapter 19 Farewell Promise. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Headed back to the Papal Palace to see Mom. Honor, what's wrong? Are you struggling with your mental power training? Don't push yourself so hard. I've already figured out how to get you that third 10,000-year spirit ring, Mom said, seeing the pain on my face. It's not that. Mom, I told Xiaoshue about my family. Mom's expression shifted, and she looked worried. And? She cried. She said we were enemies, and then she left. I'd never experienced a broken heart before and didn't know what it felt like. Now, my heart ached. Maybe I shouldn't have let you two meet in the first place. Mom was beating herself up. She couldn't choose between us. It's not your fault, Mom. I'll sort this out. I want to see Xiaoshue, but she's avoiding me. Okay, I'll help you. Mom went to the Hall of Elders to find Renxue, but she wasn't there. I went several times myself, but no luck. After that, I locked myself in my room, hoping to numb the pain with training. A few days later, Mom opened my bedroom door. I was deep in cultivation, but I was a mess. My long hair was tangled and uncombed, my face was smudged with grime, and my eyes were bloodshot. Xiaogang, Mom said, clearly heartbroken to see me like this. Mom, what's up? I managed a smile, even though I was hurting inside. This is a letter from Xiaoshue. I opened it, a mix of excitement and dread washing over me. I recognized her delicate handwriting. I'm leaving. You want to see me? I'll be waiting at the south gate. Renxue, I snapped back to reality and bolted out the door. Xiaogang. What is it, Mom? She handed me a mirror. Look at yourself. You can't see her looking like that. I stared at my reflection, horrified. I quickly washed my face, did my best to comb my hair, and straightened my clothes. Then I thanked Mom and ran out. The south gate was reserved for platinum bishops and higher-ups in the spirit hall. I activated my blue-silver emperor spirit, shot out a bunch of vines, anchored them to the stone pillars, and created a giant slingshot. I asked 2 cardinals to launch me, assuring them I'd be fine. The cardinals gave it everything they had, sending me flying thousands of meters. Wuhun city was big, though not as vast as Tiando city, still miles across. As I was about to land, I summoned the clear sky hammer and slammed it diagonally into the ground. Boom, it created a crater, and the reaction force helped me land safely. Then I took off. I didn't care about the potential punishment or the gossip about seeing the clear sky hammer. None of that mattered compared to Renxue. When I reached the south gate, Renxue was waiting. She was alone, but I knew guards were lurking nearby. I was a little winded. Xiaogang, that I looked at her. She didn't look much better than I did. Her eyes were red and shadowed. She'd clearly been struggling. She didn't respond, but asked, her face serious, Bibi Han, I need to ask you something. If the Clear Sky School and the Spirit Hall go to war again, which side will you choose? That without hesitation, I said, if that day comes, I'll stand with the Spirit Hall. I won't show mercy to anyone except Tang Hao. Why? They share your blood with the Clear Sky Hammer. They're your family. Family? Ha, that I laughed bitterly. If they considered me family, they wouldn't have failed to protect my mother. The #1 school in the world couldn't protect her, even if they hid behind excuses. They didn't dare say a word and threw her away. They even called us bastards behind our backs. I don't associate with cowards. They dishonored the Clear Sky Hammer's power. That my voice dripped with disdain. She knew how desperately I'd chased after her. When she heard what I said, she replied, okay, I believe you. Let's pinky swear. I taught her the pinky swear, a thing from Blue Star. Pinky swear, cross my heart, hope to die, stick a needle in my eye. We hooked our thumbs together and laughed. It felt like things were back to normal. By the way, will you change your last name back to Tang in the future? That I was confused. No. My last name is Bai. My mother raised me. I'll always be Bibi Han. It would be great if your last name was Qian, so that someday. Her face flushed. Why Qian? Never mind. I'm leaving. Remember to come see me. Definitely. That I watched the carriage until it disappeared. On a tall building a few hundred meters away, stood Mom, Qian Douluo, and Golden Crocodile. Mom had followed me as soon as I left. Otherwise, you think those 2 cardinals would have dared launch me? If they'd made that call on their own, they'd be dead, even if I hadn't gotten hurt. The sins of the father shouldn't be visited on the children. What do you think, Bibi Dong? Qian Douluo said, his words laced with double meaning. Mom scoffed and watched Renxue leave, murmuring to herself, Xiaogang, take care of yourself. Chapter 20 Absorption of Head Soul Bone, Changes in Eyes. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After getting back to the Pope's palace, Bibi Han kept practicing. 5 days later, he finally hit level 30 and excitedly ran to see his mom. Ghost Douluo was the only one there. Douluo must have been out on a mission. After saying hello, he asked, Mom, I'm level 30 now. Can I get a 10,000-year soul ring? His mother walked up to him and put her hand on his head, checking his mental strength. Yes, your mental power is about where an intermediate soul sect should be, but it's not quite enough for a 10,000-year ring. Ah, so I have to keep practicing. Bibi Han was a little bummed. Training mental power gets harder and harder. If I'm only at the intermediate soul sect level now, it'll probably take a year to reach Soul King. Don't worry, I've already got a plan. His mother turned her hand, and a head soul bone with a blue glow appeared. A head soul bone. Bibi Han exclaimed, eyes wide. This is a spirit condensation wisdom skull. Absorb it, Honor. Mom, it's too precious. I'd rather just keep training. Even if I don't absorb the soul ring, my soul power will still build up, right? Bibi Han declined quickly. head soul bones are the second most valuable of all soul bones. He'd be lying if he said he didn't want it, but he knew just how rare they were. It was easily as valuable as the Clear Sky School's inherited soul bones. The Golden Generation in the original story only got soul bones in the Soul Master competition, and Bibi Han was only a few months older than them. Don't let good stuff go to waste. You've got the talent to make it worthwhile. Sure, you can build soul power without a ring, but a great soul master doesn't level up as fast as a soul master. Your best years for cultivation are limited, so just absorb it, Honor. Don't worry about it. Okay, thanks, Mom. Bibi Han took the head soul bone, sat down cross-legged, and started absorbing it. Blue light surrounded him, and the first thing he felt was a wave of cold soul power flowing into his mind. It felt incredibly comfortable. In this wave, Bibi Han could feel his mental power growing and spreading out in circles. Focus your spirit and keep it contained to prevent losing control. His mother's stern voice snapped him back to reality. Though quiet, it carried a powerful mental shock. His mother forced the released mental power back into his body. Hearing her voice, Bibi Han straightened up and quickly gathered his mental power. He felt like something had changed in his eyes. After absorbing the bone, Bibi Han opened his eyes, now a rippling aqua blue. Anyone who saw them would be drawn in. Honor, how do you feel? But before he could answer, his eyes widened as he looked at his mother. He saw 7 flashes of light on her body, 1 on her head, chest, left and right arms, calves, and back. What's wrong? His mother asked, looking at him strangely. Mom, do you have 7 soul bones? The last one's on your back. How did you know? Bibi Dong was surprised. She had 6 external soul bone wings with purple light, and hardly anyone in the spirit hall knew about it. Bibi Han didn't answer. Grandpa Ghost, do you have a right leg bone? He asked. Now it was Ghost Douluo Meng's turn to be shocked. Only a few people knew he had a soul bone. His mother realized what was happening. Honor, can you tell who has a soul bone now? I saw a light in those places, so I asked. That's strange. Absorbing soul bones shouldn't give you that ability, Bibi Dong murmured. Mom, maybe it's because I use my soul power to enhance my eyes. He told his mother everything, holding nothing back. Is that even possible? Ghost Douluo said. Yeah, I didn't have this ability at first, but my eyesight was better. Maybe the head soul bone gave me this ability. Not bad, a pleasant surprise. Honor, now let's see what soul skills you got. Elder Ghost, step forward. As you command, Your Majesty the Pope. Grandpa Ghost, be careful. Bibi Han's eyes widened. Destroying purple light. Thanks to the book friend for the suggestion. A blue laser shot from Bibi Han's eyes with such force that it pushed him back a few steps. Ghost Douluo, having blocked the attack, said in surprise, a mental attack at the level of a soul king, and a soul power attack from a great soul master. I can inject soul power into my eyes and use them like hands and feet to turn them into rays. I can use the mental rays 3 times a day, but the soul power rays I can use as long as I have soul power. Hearing this, Bibi Dong was even happier. Her child was a pioneer of eye-ray abilities. Alright, Elder Ghost, Xiaogan's mental power has reached the level of an intermediate soul king. Let's take him to get his soul ring. Honor, after you absorb the soul ring, you're going to Metal City. Metal City? Yes, your hammer swing is too rusty. Go there and learn all the hammer power skills, then come back. Blacksmiths had been around longer than the Clear Sky School, so their skills would definitely be just as good. Oh. Bibi Han thought, Mom was with me when I was swinging the hammer to keep me safe, but was my hammer really that bad? I thought it was okay, star. Xiaohan, let's go. Okay. Goodbye, Mom. I'll be back after I learn everything. After saying goodbye, Ghost Douluo grabbed him, turning into a black shadow. As the top agility attack type title Douluo, Ghost Douluo was naturally fast and reached the star-Do forest in half a day. During the trip, Bibi Han was thinking about what to name his eye. It could only see soul bones when soul power was injected into it, so he decided to call it the Eye of Reality. Bibi Han used his blue-silver grass to find a 13,000-year-old holy light unicorn. He sat down to absorb the soul ring. Despite his previous experiences, Ghost Douluo wasn't taking any chances. He kept a close watch and used his mental energy to keep other soul masters and soul beasts away.